Hello and welcome back to the Essex Allotment Farm. My name is Alex. This is the Essex Allotment Farm. For those of you who aren't familiar with the channel, this is a four-season market garden selling organic veg direct to end consumer. So we don't do wholesale. And in this video, I've had to re-record this intro because it's changed. Effectively, my day's changed. So we started off by doing some sowing. That didn't go to plan. So we've gone into doing some weeding. And then at the end of the video, or towards the end of the video, I actually start going into financials and start trying to explain to you how we give cash values to our crops and why we grow in the way that we do. So a bit of a mismatch, but that's the style that I do it in. It's completely vloggy. It's mostly me just talking to camera and showing you a few bits. I hope you enjoy it. And let's crack on. Today I'm on the main farm site and we're going to be doing some direct sowing. So I'll let you know what it is we're sowing and a little bit about the process and how we do it and the tool that we use, which spoiler alert is a Yang single row seeder, and it's probably one of the best pieces of equipment I've ever bought for the market garden. So we'll be jumping straight into it and getting cracking on with the direct seed sowing. I should just say the continuity of this video might be a little bit different. We have done this all today, but I'm dodging rain showers. It's the first rain that we've had in weeks, probably getting on for 6-7 weeks here in Chelmsford in Essex. And so we're really going to try and take advantage of it. We're due some more showers over the next week or so. So the conditions should be ideal for direct germination. And whilst we've got water from the mains, it's obviously a lot harder to keep the top sort of few centimeters of soil that the seeds are in damp when it's bone dry and red hot, which is the weather we've had for the last few weeks. We've had temperatures up 22, 23 degrees during the day and 6 or 7 overnight. So it stays relatively mild, 15, 16, 17. The soil temperature is rising quickly. We've got stuff already germinating in the ground, but we're really going to take advantage of the wet weather that we're meant to have alongside this warm weather in mid-spring to really kick on with direct sowing. And you can tell that the farm is ready to be direct sowed because the weed pressure has started to increase with lots of baby seedlings. So we've got some hoeing and other bits to do. So yeah, those are the conditions that we're going to have over the next week to 10 days. So we're going to really try and take advantage of it and crack on with lots of direct sowing. So let's jump out there and get on with it. So we are going to be using this amazing bit of kit to direct seed here on the farm. This is a Yang single row seeder, and for those of you who are not familiar with it, basically in a nutshell, I won't show you in too much detail, this front wheel turns a chain which has got cogs and attached to this hopper that drops the seed down, and simultaneously the sort of mini plough thing at the bottom opens up the soil, the seed drops in, and then this back wheel closes the seal or the earth gets closed behind it by this sort of rake, sort of flat rake implement down here and patted back down the back wheel. It's a really technical bit of kit. It's probably one of the best bits of kits that I've ever bought for the farm. It was really expensive. It's obviously not sponsored because these guys don't give these away for nothing. It cost me an absolute fortune to get it here, but it's probably one of the single best investments I've ever made. Super technical. Yeah, let me see if I can show you a little bit about it in more detail and then show you how it works. So here it is in a little bit more detail. So this wheel stays the same. With me pushing it, this digs in and moves the chain, and then you can see the chain that comes down here is moved by this cog. You can see there, and that moves the disc that's in the hopper. This is where you store your seed. And it drops it out the bottom here, all in the one motion, push motion. This creates a trench in the ground, and then this pats it down behind it, and then the wheel puts it flat. And at the moment, I've got in there a salad mix. I need to top it up because it needs more in there, but lettuce mix. I think it's Marvel of Four Seasons and a gourmet lettuce mix, cut and come again variety. So I've prepped these beds here. These we're not going to sow. We've put a mulch dressing on the top of that. We're going to do some direct planting in those in a couple of days' time. I'm going to sow these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds here. Now there's a slight difference in them. These first two, this one here and this one here, I've already raked flat and level, ready for seeding. These, the next part of the process, I'll rake the remaining 5 just to take off any of the larger debris that might get stuck in the Yang seeder, and then we'll get seeding. So let me show you the process. All right, let's do this. So all my beds are 75 centimetres wide, paths 25 centimetres wide. So one path, one bed is 1 metre. The reason I standardise it all is so that you can use all the equipment in the same bits of bed. Also, I can give a cash value to a bed. So if this is cut and come again lettuce, for example, this bed, I can't remember the exact figures, but depending on how well it crops, will be worth somewhere in between £500 to £700. That's the same for this crop, like a mixed gourmet lettuce leaf that we create in bags and put in bags, will be the same regardless of which bed it is that we sow in. So first little problem we've got is the back wheel where it's not been cleaned. Whoever used it last didn't clean it, got stuck. We're going to intensively do this. So we're going to try and squeeze like maybe even 6 or 7 rows, because we're going to cut this bed as like loose leaf. So we're going to try and squeeze 7 rows in this one bed. Like I said, should create a carpet of lettuce, different varieties, that we just come along, cut, and let it grow on again. Seems to be working a little bit better on that pass. So we've done 3 already. I think 7 might be ambitious. Maybe we'll go for 6. I'll let you know after. Sun's coming out, which is nice. It's exactly the kind of conditions we want. The soil's nice and wet, it's loose, it's fluffy on the top, and this machine will go for it nice and easily. All right, can we get 3 more in? Just keep an eye on how much seed's coming out. Still plenty in the hopper. Right, we've got a first little jam. So it's not perfect every time. Sometimes you just have to lift it up, give it a bit of shake, especially when you're doing it into damp soil. Just get clogged up a little bit. But there you go, that's a nice pass. So that's 5. We've still got plenty of seed in there. That's 6. And we'll go for 1 more straight down the middle. Now, I'm going to do this. Am I going to straddle it? No. I was going to do it. Yeah, go on, I'll do it. So you can. The reason the beds are this wide, not the most pretty way to do the final row, but just so I get it dead straight, I can straddle these beds. That's why they're only 75 centimetres wide. But yeah, this walk is not the prettiest, but it'll give you something to laugh at on the video. So that's the first bed done in what, like 3 or 4 minutes? I don't know how well you can pick that up on camera, but you can see that we've managed to get 7 rows in across there. That's really intensive. We're just going for it. And you can see it's nice straight, shallow runs. And that should, in a few weeks' time, maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks' time, be full of lettuce. And because we're harvesting it in baby leaf form, not letting them really grow on, we should be able to harvest pretty soon. So in the bed next door, we're going to do another lettuce mix. So all I've had to go and do is empty the seed out of the hopper that was in there, put that back in a packet to use at a later date, and fill it with a different mix. This is a muscular mix. So it's just got a different variety of leaf, and we're going to do exactly the same process. I've already raked it flat. It's prepped and ready to go. So I'm going to clip this back into the yang seeder and sow 7 rows in the bed next to it. So I'll show you what's happening where the soil's still a little bit too damp. We're getting a clog up here, and that's back wheel. That's why you keep seeing me stopping. That back wheel keeps getting clogged up, so I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean, and hopefully it'll be a lot smoother. So all the best made plans don't always work. So here we are. I did manage to get the 2 beds done. So we've got, I only went for 6 in this one because it was getting really, this one here because it was getting really temperamental, and 7 rows, which seemed to go a lot better in this one here. But probably just a little bit too wet on the surface. Seems to be clogging up the machine quite a bit. So we're going to leave the direct sowing for a few hours. Hopefully the sun will come out this afternoon and we might get a little bit more done, and I'll talk you through what it is that we got done. But while we're here, let me just show you some of the weed pressure and some of the other bits that we've got going on. We've got quite a bit of action in the potato beds, which is this one here. Let me go and show you. So as I said, we've got a bit of action with our early potatoes. These are Charlotte potatoes, and we've got some growth going up all the bed. But with good weather for potato growth comes good weather for weed growth. So I'm just going to shoot across up and down the sides of this bed I've already started and take away some of the weed pressure. So at this stage, when they're sort of baby weeds, little seedlings, little weedlings, we just use a hoe. Let me see if I can, I don't know if this is a close-up, I'll do it properly in a minute. And we just go down the sides where there's no potatoes in the ground or anything so just yet, and we scrape away all these baby seedlings and sort of also use the hoe just to mound up some of the edges of the potato. It's just a job that we do every few weeks just to take some of the weed pressure away. It's nothing groundbreaking, it's just hoeing our potato beds. But fine, if we do it at this stage now, we'll keep weeds under control over the coming weeks. It doesn't take long at all. Heavy breathing on the mic probably, but it's very, very muggy out there. Very muggy. We'll just move the sprinkler out the way for a bit. And continue where I left off. Like always in these videos, if you've got any questions about the way I'm doing things, then just drop them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. We planted these potatoes, I'm in a bit there. How long ago? Maybe 3 weeks ago. And all we did was use a bulb cutter to put 2 rows of potatoes down the middle, and we used some well-rotted 18-month-old rabbit and rabbit manure and bedding, sort of make a mound and feed on the top. A few chicken manure pellets in the ground as well. And what we'll do is let them get a little bit bigger. And I know they're first early, so they don't necessarily need it, but we'll put another layer of compost on top of these, on top of the mound, or some more bedding, rabbit and bedding and manure in a few weeks' time, just to make sure, more than anything, that A, we do give them the best opportunity to have a great crop, but B, just to make sure that the ones on the surface don't go green, where the light can get through to them. So yeah, as I'm doing this, the weed pressure is quite big, quite a lot of weed pressure. So we'll make sure we give it a real good hoe. Like I say, I've just shown you, it doesn't really take that much time. But we might re-wood chip the paths as well, just to block out any other weeds that are coming through in the paths. Where we've had a bit of rain, and it was the first layer of wood chip paths of the season. Where we walk on them quite a lot, the soil tends to absorb. Not absorb, but like, you know, the wood chips gets pushed down into the ground and the weeds start to come through. So we'll just heavily re-wood chip these paths, and that will help the weed pressure in the paths to stay down. But yeah, so I can just give you a close-up now You can see that there's a bit of weed pressure in the edges of the beds. In here, this is one that we haven't done, but the potatoes look early stages, but super healthy. Plenty of sprouts coming through. And then by contrast, this is the bed we've just done. So you can see I've hoed all the weeds off. Hopefully they'll dry out and die down. And these super healthy potatoes will carry on growing really nicely. Again, I've just show you the contrast. So just here, I've just gone down that one. This is the bed that I've already done. And this is the area here that hasn't been weeded. So I'll just go down that. Again, oh, I'm out of breath. I was trying to hold it in to get that done, sorry. That probably sounds awful, but it's hard work this. So I'm gonna get that done now. So I'm completely one paced. I can't do anything slowly, even though it's really muggy. It's not the greatest day. I should be taking it easy, but I'm working really fast and really quick, so I only got one pace, and that's why I get out of breath. I've only done 2 beds. I've got another 8 to go, so I best get on with it really. Okay, so I've done, well, I've actually done 8 out of the 10 of those potato beds that I needed to weed. And then it started chucking it down. Well, not chucking it down, but it started raining again. So it's a good excuse to have a cup of tea, replenish my fluid, because I'm so out of breath. I've done loads of running since November. I took advantage of the winter and when my work slows down. I've done loads of running, gym, had a personal trainer for 6 months. I've lost about 1.5 stone in weight. But I'm still so unfit, evidently. So something I need to continue to work on. Got to be fit to be any kind of veg grower. Anyway, you know that. Exciting news I should share with you now, really, really quickly. Exciting news. I did that little, because I think I might use it on the thumbnail. That was my version of exciting news. Anyway, stop rambling. I'm doing a podcast. It's out this Friday, Good Friday, for those that celebrate Easter. And it's with Jesse, Plot 37. So that'll be exciting. We're going to do 8 throughout the season, monthly, and that'll be out at the end of the week. So look out for that on all your usual podcast providers, and let us know what you think if you go and give it a go. But if you don't, stay watching the channel. Your support is appreciated. Anyway, when it stopped raining, I'm going to show you the peas that I've direct sowed that have just started to shoot up. I'm going to show you what the plan is to do down the sides of those potatoes that I've just weeded, and then we'll call it a wrap. So what I was talking about is with these potatoes, it stopped raining to a drizzle, so I've jumped out to do it. So there's 2 rows of potatoes down the centre of these beds. These are the 5 that I've done so far and weeded. And what it presents is this growing space here, down the side of each bed. So what I'll go and do is I'll go and double check what things are great companions for potatoes. I've grown French beans alongside them, dwarf French beans under the edge before. Under the edge of the potato plants here as they grow, and they've done absolutely fantastically. And we'll probably sow something, 1 row of something down each side of the potatoes. So as the potatoes grow up and out, it can be something that can handle a little bit of shade and doesn't need a lot of space, because we can grow a row of something down each side of the bed whilst the potatoes kick on. So that is the advantage of not using machinery when you grow on scale. Not the biggest scale in the world, but on scale, bigger than an allotment anyway. And for in a market garden, by not using machinery to harvest, you can, like on a traditional allotment or your back garden space, you can interplant with things, because you're hand sowing or yang sowing. You are hand harvesting, hand weeding, and doing all those bits, and you haven't got to leave room for single machines to get up and down to harvest all your products. So that's one of the advantages, and why you can grow so much on in such a small space. So if we link it back to what I was saying earlier, that a bed, 15 metre, 75 centimetre bed, could be worth £500, £700 throughout the season, or for one sowing, depending on what it is and how you sell it. If you sell it as whole lettuce heads, it obviously makes a lot less money than if you pick it, wash it and sell it in bags at farmers markets. But potatoes, the values are a lot lower because potatoes are cheaper than prepared loose cut lettuce. So to maximise the value of this one bed, say the potatoes, and again, I don't know these figures off the top of my head, so please don't come at me in the comments. I'm just trying to give you a rough idea. This bed for just this Charlotte run of 2 runs of Charlotte potato might have a cash value of say £200, which is probably about roughly right. Again, this is end retail, direct to end consumer, free from chemicals and pesticides. Value of £200 in this one bed, so not wholesale, at farmers market prices. Might have a value of £200 to then get another £100 or £150 out of this bed at the same time. We do French beans or peas or something like that down the side of it to maximise the amount of money that we make from this space. Now, so that bed then isn't just £200, it's worth somewhere between £300 and £400. They're both relatively quick croppers. These are 12 to 15 week Charlotte potatoes. The French beans, not this time of years, but a little bit later on, will be a similar time from sow to harvest. And then you'll be able to flip that bed and do another crop in it after, or another 2 crops in it after, for the end of the season. So that one bed might make you £1,000 throughout the season, depending on what it is and how successful a season you have. Obviously, loads of that's weather dependent, like you've seen today. A lot of my life is weather dependent, and you've got to have an outlet to sell it. So we don't sell all at those massive end prices. You know, we don't make that much money. How can I describe this? The cash value of the veg boxes. So the product, we charge £15 for a veg box. What am I trying to say here? We charge £15 for a veg box. If we sold all those products at farmers market individually that they get in that one veg box, it might be worth £20. So there is always a little difference depending on whether you're going to sell those potatoes at farmers market, where the price is the maximum you're going to get for it, or in your veg boxes where you tend to give them a little bit more because they're regular customers and you don't want you need to give them enough product for the week. So that's the way we work it. That's why we have all standardized bed sizes, and so we can give sort of a cash value to each bed depending on what crops are planned to be in it. So this is a potato bed up here. You can see the manure in the middle. It's the same as the ones I've just been weeding. This one's netted because we've sown down the edge peas, and you can see them under the netting starting to come up. So they were only sown about 10 days ago. So all the way down this focus, all the way down this hedge here is a hand sowing of peas. And so we will get the value of the potatoes, say, I guess, without checking my spreadsheet, £200, but then we might get an extra £50 to £100 worth of cash value of peas by intensely sowing them all down here. And we have got a chance of doubling the value of what that bed's worth over the next 16 weeks. You might have seen some of these, they won't focus because I'm in cinematic mode so that I pop. What's wrong with me today? You might have seen some of these buckets knocking about. I've got quite a few of them. They're actually helping hold the plastic down at the moment, but there's about 50 of them in total dotted around the farm. And this season we are growing ochre in them. So in the past, why am I wobbly? I can't hold the camera today. This is a really sketchy vlog. I do apologise. So they're holding down various different bits of plastic, and what we've done in the past is try to get a quick crop of, say, Charlotte potatoes or something like that in them early in the season. We didn't do that this year. We've decided to grow ochre, so we've planted ochre tubers in them. We're going to keep them in there for the season and try and grow ochre in them this season. I've only ever grown ochre about 7 years ago on the allotment, and I haven't done it since. I've never done it on scale, so we're giving it a go in 50 or 60 buckets this season. I'll keep you updated on how that goes. Okay, that's where I'm going to end the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit of a mismatch. I do apologise, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.